but you almost started a genre of this singer-songwriter female. I don't want to say grunge, but just like this
dark R&B is what they're calling it.
There
now.
we go, dark R&B. That's perfect.
I just heard that term last week.
I love that, and it's kind of it's moody, it's vibey.
Yeah,
but lyrically, you're not. He did all these things to me, that made me feel so special. You're not specifically, praising anybody specific. You're like, look, I'm in my own space. We can have this interaction, we can have this experience, but I need to focus on myself. That's kind of the mood that I get from a lot of your songs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Even when I go back and listen to Bad and just like the place I was in, just like crazy young.
It's just dope
woman.
though. It's real.
Yeah. Just growing up and discovering who I was and learning about love.
Yeah.
I've had those pretty little dark R&B vibes.
But you have artists like, Summer Walker. You have girls like, SZA. It's so many of them. I think
and I like them all.
But I feel like you started that. You know what I mean? Like
saying that.
Can we talk? Can we talk? Can we talk? R&B.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy Ian Vaughn here for another episode of the Can We Talk R&B podcast. I am extremely, extremely excited because first off, we have our first female guest on the show. So this is like a huge, huge celebration. We've been talking about this. We've had all these legendary male artists, producers, songwriters, but we have one of them ones. She's too shy of an EGOT. She's a Grammy Award winning, Oscar Award winner, singing, songwriting beast. We have the beautiful Tiara Thomas.
Hey.
Pleasure.
Thank you for having me. I like that introduction. That was good.
Come on. That was a freestyle.
Oh,
but that was from the heart, though. I meant that.
Okay, I appreciate it. I didn't know I was the first female guest.
First female guest.
Fire.
Yeah, we've been talking about it. We have women. You guys are kind of difficult to get. You know what I mean? Like I could reach out to some of the guys. They're like, oh yeah, Ian, we
Let me pull up. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But ladies like, who is this guy? What you want? You know what I mean? Like,
well, I'm glad we linked up.
Absolutely. Well, we bumped into each other. It was a Tone Stith's album release party.
Yep, a couple weeks
ago. And
I
saw you in the street. Yeah, in the street. And I'm like, Tiara, I'm like, come on, I gotta have you on the show. So happy, full circle to have you here today.
Yep, glad we made it happen.
I really, really, really appreciate that. We were trying to find you all across the country. I think we was trying to catch you in New York.
Yeah, and, I just got back to LA last night, or 2 days ago. So I caught up on sleep, and this is my first stop.
Are you touring right now?
No, I'm just was doing a little bit of promo for my single that I dropped today, so I woke up this morning ready to come here and chat with you. So
yeah, that's what's up. Well, we thank you for coming out. So let's just get to it. Like, you're a singer-songwriter. You've been making noise for over 10 years at this point.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy too.
Yeah. Like, can you let's go on the journey, because there's a lot of us that don't really know your full story. We've heard some of your music and we know what you've been doing, but we don't really know how you got into the game. Can you educate us on that? Like, what got you into R&B?
10 years, that's a long time. And it's crazy because I'm only 20, so that's crazy. But, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana.
Nice.
And I started off, I've been doing music really since high school, but I really started taking myself seriously musically in college.
Gotcha.
And
What college?
I went to Ball State University.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't want to go to school, but the way I grew up, it's either you go to school after you graduate or you go to the military.
Gotcha.
So, I went to school,
Gotcha.
and I just, so many times I kind of wanted to just get out of there and pursue my music, but I ended up staying. And I met Wale when I was in college during spring break one year. Yeah. And I had started working with him, had a working relationship with him. And a couple years later, which was like maybe 6 months after I graduated college, I landed my first single with Wale, with Bad.
Yeah. So, okay, we can't just skip over that.
Okay.
That's how I was introduced to you. And that was, that record's triple platinum now.
Yeah.
And even at a time when it was, we was buying albums for real, you know what I mean? So that song really made some real noise. Like, leading up, how'd you get to Wale? I remember personally meeting Wale. It had to be like 09, 2010 at a party or I'm sorry, it was a concert of his in Nashville. I was at some event there. And this is my first time being introduced to him. He was independent at the time, I believe, but it was a sellout crowd, like down the street. And everybody was like, this guy named Wale. And I'm like, I ain't never heard of him. You know what I mean? Then I go to the party and he is killing it, a live band. So he seems to have always had an appreciation for like musicianship in his music. You know, so how'd you get from that in college? How'd you meet him to get to that point to do that?
Well, I went on spring break one year with my friends, and I think it was my first time to Atlanta, and I met Wale at the club.
Nice.
And I was like, hey, I'm a singer-songwriter, and I play guitar, and let's work.
Yeah.
I would just like walk up to people and just start saying stuff like that, you know? Yeah. And so I actually did end up getting connected with someone that Wale was working with at the time, and they reached out to me and they looked at my YouTube videos because I was posting videos, acoustic videos on YouTube at the time, like in the stairways of my dorm room, get noise complaints and stuff. And I got linked up with these people, and I just started kind of flying out every now and then while I was in school, and I would do shows with them, or I would go to the studio with them. And I had written this song called Bad in my with my friend Kelson. It was his second R&B song he's ever produced. He was like, you know, kind of did alternative country stuff, white boy from Indiana, didn't really know much about R&B music.
Sure.
And I reached out to him, Kelson, on Facebook, and I said, hey, I have this song, and I need someone to record it for me. And so I linked up with him, and we made this song Bad, and put it on YouTube.
So you produced the track, the whole deal?
Yeah, I produced it with my friend Kelson. My friend's a producer, on the song. And he's playing guitar on the song, but I wrote the song on my guitar in the dorm.
I literally was listening to that song earlier today, and I'm like, whoever's playing, I didn't know if it was you or I get it. I play guitar too, but when I'm getting a producer to produce the record, we may have someone else.
Yeah, that's Kelson at the beginning of the guitar, like playing the riffs and stuff. That's Kelson.
Beautiful colors.
And we listened to the song like 100 times that night, and we were just looking at each other and laughing, like, "Dang, this is so dope! This is special."
Yeah.
I don't know that I thought that much of it, but we put it on YouTube, and this was a little bit before the time that I had met Wale, and I know he was looking for his next single, and somebody had suggested, "Hey, Tiara's got this song called Bad."
Wow.
And yo, just put your verses on there, and just keep the hook on there. Nice. So he put his verses on there, and I remember at the time, because that would be like 2012.
Okay.
2012, 2013. And at the time, it wasn't really popular for unsigned artists to be on a song with a artist. Yes, exactly. So I remember they was talking about other people being on the song, singing my part on the song. And
politics.
Politics. Yeah. So a couple other R&B singers that were popping at the time.
Sure.
And they end up keeping me on the song. And of course, because, you know, it's my song. Yeah.
But it would have been no justice, honestly. Like, I'm sorry, I don't care who would have been on it. It could have been the biggest star in the world. That'd have been dope. But you being the writer, you putting that natural feel on the record, like I'm not gonna say not trying, but naturally just presenting yourself on the record is what made that record special.
Yeah, I think it was authentic.
Exactly.
And I didn't realize that I knew it was authentic to me at the time, but I didn't know that it was going to be received in the way that it was.
Sure.
So Wale put that song on his mixtape. I think it was his More About Nothing mixtape.
Okay. He
put the song on his mixtape, and my name started trending on Twitter, and he had like 30 songs on that mixtape.
Wow.
And everyone was talking about, like, who's that girl singing on that song? Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I couldn't believe it, the feedback from the song.
Sure.
I was seeing girls getting like, is it bad that I never made love tattooed?
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God.
Wow.
But the feedback was just incredible from the song, and that's how people discovered me.
I mean, to this day, that song still rolls. And I was at a party not long ago, and they don't play Wale's, they don't even play the verses hardly anymore. They just they'll keep looping that hook, and it's like an anthem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like when the girls in the, you see the lighters in the air.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I came out during Tone Stith's show because he opened for Victoria Monet last week. So I came out to do Hit You Right Back with him, and I came out and I performed Bad, and it was crazy. I didn't even get like the first chord out. And everyone was screaming at the top of their lungs. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. 10 years later, everybody's still singing the song like it's brand new.
You know how they say you one hit away. You have a number of hits, but to have that as your, I guess, your debut to the world, that's major.
Yeah, that's
major.
Crazy.
That's you're impacting the whole world.
Yeah.
So we kind of got ahead of it. I mean, what got you into the music though? Like you in college, you made this record and you were just writing songs for yourself as an artist. Were you trying to be a songwriter for other artists, or were you like how'd that go?
No, I wasn't. I was on my artist, on my artistry, trying to be a musician. I was really inspired by I'd actually started playing guitar when I was around 12. I taught myself to play.
Nice.
And I just remember listening to artists like Lauryn Hill and Indie and I mean, I grew up on so many, like Elton John. I mean, I know that's not R&B, but literally
incredible songwriter.
90s pop, 2000s pop, because I wasn't allowed to listen to rap music. So it was a lot of R&B and pop music that I would listen to. And I was really just inspired by Lauryn Hill, in particular, in the stories and the rawness of her voice and her tone and everything. And I was just, I loved it. And so I started playing guitar and I was like, I want to be a singer. I'm going to be a singer. And I told my mom and dad that when I was 12 that I was going to win a Grammy. I didn't know how. I was just saying that. Wow. I just said it. I don't even know that I thought that far through. I just knew that I liked to play music and that I was going to win a Grammy.
Out of the heart, the mouth speaks.
And I couldn't even play guitar at the time. I remember I was like carrying my guitar around for like 6 months to school and everything. People like, can you play that thing? And I was like, I'm going to learn how to play. Yeah. And so I feel like I manifested me learning how to play guitar and being an artist. And so the songwriting thing kind of came a little bit by accident, but it worked out. And so I continued with that.
Do you remember what your first song was about, or how'd that go?
My first song as an artist. Just becoming a songwriter, just writing a song for yourself. Maybe no one's ever heard it. Okay, so I put this song on YouTube called Little Miss Sunshine.
Okay.
That was my first song that I posted on my YouTube page, and it was in the stairway of my dorm room. Because I loved the way the acoustics sounded there. Yeah, so I used to just go there and play my guitar. Yeah. And
make it sound like you're a better player too.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. And I posted that, and I think my parents were the first people to comment on that video, and they were like, "You're so good."
Nice.
And I would get feedback from, just a bunch of people online. Back then, YouTube was a really cool way to be discovered. A lot of people used to post covers and stuff. I'm sure they do.
Of course.
But
at that time, that was like the precipice of all that.
So it's called Little Miss Sunshine, and I was singing and rapping on there.
Nice.
And it's probably a little bit trash now if I like go back and listen to it. But that was my first song that I can remember writing and putting online.
Gotcha. When I think about you as you play guitar, singer-songwriter, that style, you're kind of, and I don't want to say this to disrespect any of the other incredible, dope artists like that, but you almost started a genre of this singer-songwriter, female, I don't want to say grunge, but just like this
dark R&B is what they're calling it.
There we go. Dark R&B. That's perfect.
I just heard that term last week.
I love that. And it's moody, it's vibey.
Yeah.
But lyrically, you're not he did all these things to me, or that made me feel so special. You're not specifically, praising anybody specific. You're like, look, I'm in my own space. We can have this interaction, we can have this experience, but I need to focus on myself. That's kind of the mood that I get from a lot of your songs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Even when I go back and listen to Bad and just like the place that I was in, just like crazy young
it's just dope though.
woman.
It's real.
Yeah, just growing up and discovering who I was and learning about love.
Yeah.
I've had those pretty little dark R&B vibes.
But you have artists like, Summer Walker.
Mm-hmm.
You have girls like, SZA. It's so many of them. I think
and I like them all.
But I feel like you started that. You know what I mean? Like,
saying that.
yeah, I feel like you start. I'm not. I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
they would say you may have inspired them in some ways.
Yeah.
But you think about it in this short. You say 10 years is a long time, but in this 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
You started this subgenre of R&B that has inspired so many other styles.
Yeah.
And when you listen to Bad and any of your other records at that time, and then you listen to what's coming out now, it's like, man, this is the same. You're ahead of your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I feel like even now with, some of the new stuff that I've been working on, it doesn't necessarily fit into the things that people are putting out now, but I feel like maybe it's something that will be the start of something, different, kind of alternative sounding R&B vibes. And I think that's kind of where R&B is going right now. We're kind of coming out of the dark R&B era, and going into more freeform R&B. It's not necessarily your typical R&B song like from the 90s, but more kind of like edgy alternative flair to it.
And it's conversational too. It's like it's real situation I'm dealing with. It's not necessarily a lot of songwriting from back in the day, the 90s vibe. Some of it was hypothetical. Some of it was, perspective. I'm watching somebody else's relationship. I aspire to this. That's what you're writing about. A lot of the, I guess, current R&B artists that I would say spawn from the dark R&B mood are talking about or singing about, a breakup or whatever it is in a way that we just had never heard before. You know what I'm saying?
I like it. I love it. I love that R&B, the writing in R&B, it's become so conversational. And I think, Summer Walker, SZA, they do a good job at that.
Absolutely.
Even artists like Drake.
Absolutely.
I think Drake has found ways to say a bunch of stuff
100%.
that everybody feels in just like different ways.
Yes.
And I love conversational lyrics. That's like the first thing I hear when I hear a song is the lyrics.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's I guess going from now that you have this hit record out with Bad, and everybody's like, who is this girl?
Yeah.
They want to hear more from me.
Yeah.
So now the labels are calling it. Got to be. Right. So I remember watching the interview a while ago, and I know you had signed a deal with Division One at one point
through Interscope.
Yep. So that's shout out to Rico Love.
Yes.
So you were with him for a while, and then you were with Interscope for a while. And I didn't personally see a whole lot of you as an artist as much as, obviously what people were expecting.
Yeah.
But doing so much research and knowing you've been working with so many fantastic artists as a writer, like her and so many other artists, Mary J. Blige, and you've, I know the journey had to be tough.
For sure.
Can you tell me something about some of the heartaches or the roadblocks that got you to to this side of it?
Well, I think it's interesting because all artists, people, they don't see like behind the scenes, what goes on behind the scenes with labels and everything like that.
Right.
And I think, when I got into the music industry, I didn't know anything. I'm just a girl from Indiana. I didn't know anything about, I didn't really know people in the industry like that.
Right.
And so you just kind of like sign a record deal where you think in hopes that things will work out. But there was a lot of back and forth on what I wanted to do and be creatively when I was at Interscope. And I would like to sing about smoking weed or what I would on my bad vibes.
Sure.
And I don't think they really liked that at the time. I don't think they
didn't understand how to
understood.
market.
Yeah, I don't think they knew that there was a wave of that coming. And so
They never do.
Yeah, the labels, it's the label.
Yeah.
But labels are labels. But yeah, I think they really didn't know what to do with that, with what I wanted to do. And so the stuff that I put out, I kind of liked it, but I didn't know that, if it was really me. And so I'd end up getting out of that deal. And that was tough because, coming out off of Bad, obviously I thought that I was going to be dropping my debut album on this label and, the creative issues. And so I ended up getting out of this deal and I met my management.
Nice.
MBK, Jeff Robinson.
Yes.
And Jason or Hootie.
Absolutely.
And they were managing, I think at the time, K. Michelle maybe.
Okay.
And also her, Gabby.
Yeah.
But her wasn't even thought of at the time. That name wasn't even thought of.
Wow.
And so I had been writing songs with her since she was like 15.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so when her career kind of took off with her first project that she put out, and I'd written a song with her on that project, we just kind of continued writing. We have a very organic writing relationship where we just get in the studio and just like come up with dope stuff.
Now you guys have a crazy sound.
Yeah. And so we just kept doing that. And I don't think there's like any song that we've written in the past few years that we thought like, oh, this is going to be this is going to be this. We were just writing dope songs. Yeah, we just writing dope songs, and they did what they did. And so that's how I ended up actually writing for her. We just kept writing, and
That's fantastic. So I knew you guys had written a bunch of records together. I didn't know you've been working with her since she was 15.
Yeah.
So because she's one of those, she's like one of those artist prodigies that's multi-instrumentalist and just been in the game for a long time. And she's also one of my favorites as well.
Yeah, she's
But
fire.
I was really I don't want to show my age. You said 10 years is a long time. That's like nothing to me. But I was introduced to her maybe 2018 maybe.
Okay.
17, 18.
Yeah, I think that's about when her first project
Okay.
came.
So, but I'm hearing other people in the industry that I'm friends with, they're like, oh, she's been cooking.
Yeah.
But I didn't know.
Yeah.
So around 17, 18, when her first music started to come out, I was just like, man, she has like all the pedigree of like the Lauryn Hills, of like some of the greatest singers, but she's also this pure musician, and you were a part of that.
Yeah.
The foundation of pieces of writing those songs.
I remember when I first met her, I went in the studio. She might have been 14 or 15, and we were in New York, and I went into the studio, and she was playing, I think, Aaliyah on the guitar, and she was singing, and I was like, oh. And I just immediately took out my phone because I just appreciate artists and people that are musical, and I just appreciate it so much. And she was so young. I'm like, yo, this little girl is fire.
Yeah.
And she sings like a baby Jasmine Sullivan. That's what she reminded me of.
Yeah.
And so... yeah, I would just always be recording her, singing, playing guitar. I'm like, wow, you're so amazing. And
Nice.
That's like my little sis.
Man.
We've gotten really close over the years. And I'm really grateful for being able to be a part of so many monumental moments with her. So
yeah, I mean, can you name? I guess I can name my favorite song from you, but I'll get to that one in a second. What's the favorite song that you've worked with her on? That, I mean, obviously you've won a number of awards, but
my favorite song probably have to be a song of her last project called "We Made It," and it's kind of got like this Coldplay vibe a little bit. It's like a mix of Coldplay, hip hop, R&B, and we both like a lot of like just a vast array of artists.
Sure.
And so, including Coldplay.
Sure.
And so it was fun doing that type of vibe with her. And,
I don't think I know an R&B artist that don't like Coldplay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just maybe it's just the melodies that they use that they tend to go to, but they're fantastic. Yeah.
They're fire. And so we made this song, and just like I just love the lyrics in the song, and they said I wouldn't come up with the family and couple Grammys. It was just like very personal, a lot of the things that were said. So
Yeah, that's the. I remember that record. It's like it's swaggy. It has this like is Lil Baby on that record?
That's Find a Way.
That's Find a Way. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's Find a Way, and actually, Dreezy did that song.
Gotcha.
And I think they had to like change the lyrics a little bit because it was mad gutted. Like she was talking about shooting people and
wow.
yeah. And so they're like, so I just came through after the fact and like cleaned up the words a little bit to just make it more like
polish
you know,
yeah,
to make it more gabby with her. So yeah, that's Find a Way.
Gotcha,
the song with Lil
I was
Baby on
confusing
there.
those.
That
Gotcha.
song is hard though.
Yeah. But the one you're referring to, I'm hearing the melody. I know that song as well.
Yeah.
So let's talk about like. Obviously, working with her, you had the opportunity to work with Mary J. Blige, the Queen.
Cool.
I know that was a combination of it was you, Lucky Day, her. I think came together to write that record.
Yep. Dmile.
That and come on, Dmile. Like
you gotta have Dmile on here too.
I have to have Dmile. Dmile. I think I've shouted you out once or twice before, brother. Can we talk R&B? You know, he's one of my favorite guys too.
He's really that guy. I was just working with him like last week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let me just ask this. I know you have music cooking. You just dropped a new single. Are you working with him on any of the new songs on the album?
I haven't worked with Dmile on my project, but I did work with him a couple weeks ago with Melanie Fiona.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, and that was my first time working with her.
Nice.
And she was mad
Love
cool.
her.
Yeah, and she's back on her, her artistry.
I've been seeing her posting on social, singing. I'm a big fan of her.
She can sing too. Sing.
Come on. Yeah, for real. Yeah, I love her voice.
She was in there going off. So
Toronto girl, right?
Yeah, she's from Toronto.
That's right. She's fantastic.
It was really cool to work with her.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, well, we're going to be looking for that for sure. So in terms of the Good Morning Gorgeous record, that record made a lot of noise. When I first heard it, obviously Mary J. Blige being who she is, the iconic artist that she is, I hadn't heard a record from her in a little while that I just was like, this one's like really special. I mean, they're definitely really good songs always, but that one was special. Like, can you talk about the inspiration for that?
That was a lot of like Mary, what Mary wanted to say. It was very cool being in the studio with her, by the way. And she was just mad cool, like I guess how you would imagine.
Sure.
Yeah, and
she's like the quintessential roundaway queen at this point, but icon.
Yeah, but she was mad cool though, and she just told us what she wanted to sing about. She said she wanted to be able to write a song where she's talking about when she wakes up in the morning, I just want to, be able to look at myself in Good Morning Gorgeous. Like she said that. And just something that felt empowering just from, everything that she's been through in her life and in her career and her being in a space now where she wanted to just admire herself and empower herself and other women too. So, that was really cool. It was just me, Lucky Day, Dmile, her, and we kind of all were just around in a huddle, just throwing out melodies and lyrics, and everybody just bouncing ideas off each other. It was cool.
A room with y'all in it is like, it's a guaranteed hit. It's a guaranteed R&B tribute, and it's a guaranteed hit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like with Lucky, that guy's, he's from New Orleans. I don't know Lucky at all, but I'm a huge fan of him as well.
Too.
Super crazy dope.
His spin is crazy too.
Absolutely. That whole, anything, I get a little, I was in here with one of the other artists I don't want to mention yet because we dropped that episode.
Oh, okay.
But we were talking about, like, I get excited about R&B the way I get excited about basketball or football. I could talk about this like, like this guy wrote this like almost like a crossover or a jump shot, you know what I mean? So when I think about guys like Lucky, I think about you, I think about her, obviously Mary. It's like an all-star team. You know what I mean? Like, what can we expect coming from you going forward? This new single, we're going to talk about that, but in terms of like the music that we have coming from you, whether it's the record with Melanie Fiona or any other artists that you're working with, like what are you tapping into to give us these vibes?
Well, the record with Melanie Fiona, that's actually, that was me going in to write with her for her project. Yeah. So, she wanted to do something a little different. So I was excited to just help her kind of step out of her element.
Vibe,
yeah. And with me, it's really a collection of songs that I've been writing over the past few years because I haven't dropped music in a while. So I've just been very experimental with my music and kind of just experimenting with my sound.
Yeah.
And elevating my sound. I call it Porsche music because it sounds expensive.
Nice.
And so, yeah, I think it's just a more elevated, sophisticated sound, and I'm just messing around with different sounds, different producers. I worked with my friend Ron Gilmore, and he's fire. He's done a bunch of stuff for J. Cole, you know, hip hop vibes. And so, yeah, there's some R&B sounding stuff on there. There's some kind of alternative R&B, straight up alternative. Yeah, so I'm excited.
And it's all like guitar driven?
No.
Okay.
No, I have some guitar driven songs, and there will probably be some songs that I would do acoustic versions of. Like I told Tone I really want to do an acoustic version of Hit You Right Back.
Yeah.
Because we did something like that in New York, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited.
I saw some of the videos. This is at Victoria's show, right?
Yeah.
I saw some of the videos when you guys were performing bad together. That was dope. Y'all duet. Y'all did a duet, breaking up into harmony. I hadn't heard it like that.
Yeah, that was so fun to do that because you know Tone, he's another guy. He can sing, like sing.
Real. That's my bro. I know that dude.
Yeah, and so just having him like harmonizing with him on the track, I be getting goosebumps. I'm like, ooh, because I like when super dope artists sing my songs.
Of course. As a guitar player, I just have to ask this. What is your favorite guitar? Do you have a favorite one that you play with? My favorite guitar, I have a Fender Tele. So a Telecaster for you guys that don't know.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
My favorite guitar is actually a Hummingbird.
Okay.
And Timbaland bought me that guitar.
Come on.
Yeah, like that's
like a life flex. What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in to another episode. I apologize for interrupting really quick. I just wanted to talk to you guys about how much work it's taking us to contribute this incredible content for you guys. For all you R&B lovers that really enjoy these conversations from legends and new artists and just R&B contributors across the board, we would greatly appreciate if you just hit subscribe, like, and share this content. God bless you. And here's the episode. Timbaland bought me the guitar.
It's pretty cool. The tone is just amazing, and I've had it for over 10 years. I think he was trying to sign me before Bad came out. Okay. And he bought me that guitar.
Nice.
And that's
Is it a hollow body or is it?
No, it's not a hollow. It's a big body. Okay. Like it's a big guitar.
I know what you're talking about. It's like the Gersh. It's like I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's a big guitar. Yeah. It's an acoustic guitar, and I be carrying that joint around and playing with it, and it's like my size.
Nice.
But I was just saying my last show, I was like, I need to get a Baby Martin or something that's delicate because I kind of don't want to be traveling with that guitar too much.
Yeah, that's a real deal guitar.
Yeah, because anything could happen. So. Yeah, I would say my Hummingbird. I love my Hummingbird.
Do you write on that guitar?
Yes.
That's one of your favorite ones to write on? Yeah. I know for me, as a songwriter, I start a lot of my songs off, even if it didn't come out like that, produced on guitar. So if I'm just at home, I'm just strumming around, come up with a melody. Yeah. And I just come up with whatever lick I'm playing. I like to stay in that. My favorite structure, that D major 7, D minor 7, I'm in there. I can write 100,000 songs right there. Is there a particular chord structure? This is just music nerd talk.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay in E minor.
Yeah. Okay.
But actually, a lot of the songs that I've been writing lately, I haven't been starting on guitar. I'd like to start things scratch with producers that, like Ron Gilmore that I've been working with. And these guys are crazy. They've got like crazy sounds and just riffs. And even, I don't know if you, do you know Frank Romano? Have you heard of him?
I've heard the name.
Okay. He's like my favorite guitar player ever.
Nice.
And
Frank Romano, yeah.
He actually, he did the guitar lick on I Need a Girl Part 2. Dun, dun. Dun 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 dun.
Come on. Okay. Yeah.
A bunch of the Music Soul Child. Dun 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 dun.
Yes. Dun, dun. Come on. Why am I acting like I don't know who that is? No, I do know who that is.
Yeah, I've known him for years.
Nice.
And I think he just moved to Nashville, but he was living in Ohio, and he would just be sending me hella guitar riffs.
Wow.
Just like legendary sounding guitar riffs. Some of it wasn't even R&B. It was just like crazy.
Yeah.
Pop, folk sounding stuff. And he was just sending me a bunch of riffs and stuff over the pandemic.
Nice.
And So yeah, I was doing a lot of writing over his riffs. I even wrote some country songs, and I'm probably gonna have like one of those country type songs on my project.
Nice.
That's what I mean by my experimenting, but
Sure.
except for it's not an experiment because it is fire.
Sure.
But yeah, so
But that's the good thing about like how we present music now. It's almost genreless. It didn't have to be confined in this particular style of R&B.
Yeah.
And R&B having so many branches.
Yeah.
You know, it can have rock vibes, folk vibes, whatever.
That's facts. And I really appreciate that about music right now. I appreciate that more female artists are branching out and doing that, because I think for some reason, I don't know, I feel like it's easier for male artists to, and for example, you know, XXX Tentacion.
Yes.
He would put out a super hardcore rap song. Then he put out this acoustic song where he's singing, and then he's got a song that's like very R&B-ish, and he puts all this stuff on the same project.
Right.
And I really liked him because I really do like him, and I like his music because
R.I.P. to King.
R.I.P. to him. Yeah, I just love the diversity in his music, and it all seemed authentic, and it all seemed like him.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate artists that are able to, and I think that's where we're heading, where artists, you can kind of just put out whatever you want to put out. It doesn't have to be strictly straight up R&B.
Right.
You know, you can have something that sounds alternative, or something that sounds super R&B, or something that's kind of got country elements to it. Sure. So I'm gonna try that out release my project, and we're gonna see how that goes.
Look, Drake has done it as a hip hop.
Drake is another
R&B artist, reggaeton artist, Afrobeat. He's done it all.
Right.
Yeah. So this is the perfect climate for that. Chris Brown does it. You know what I mean? This is the perfect climate.
But you see, you're naming all male artists.
I feel you.
That's what I'm saying. So right. I appreciate artists like, I noticed SZA, even on her last album, she's got some like alternative sounding songs on her album. I know H.E.R does that as well.
Yep.
So
yep.
Yeah,
you're right.
That's what I'm gonna be.
Doja Cat, she does it as well.
Yeah.
And she's more of a rap. I don't know what she is. She's just a fire artist, whatever she is. Yeah, I love it.
Fire. I mess with her.
I love that. So what are some of the lessons that you tell, or I guess give to some up and coming artists that that's been aspiring to get in this game? I know the game is totally different from when you started 10 years ago. Like, do you have any advice for some of these guys?
Get on TikTok.
Come on.
I'm just playing. I mean, yeah, maybe get on TikTok. I'm just saying that because that's what they be saying to me.
Right.
They be pushing.
That's
TikTok.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I would say this, I guess, to compound on that. Hip hop is now, or Spotify has come out with a metric saying hip hop is down 40% in terms of streams in the culture. Obviously, hip hop has been at the top of the game for years, so a 40% downtick, I don't know how much that really affects it across the board, but in turn, R&B is on a 25% increase.
Yeah, I saw that.
How do you feel about that?
That's fire. I think that's really fire. I don't know what happened with the hip hop vibes. I don't know if it's just like too many people were coming out with songs and it was like, all right. But I think that's really dope because I know a lot of people say R&B is dead, which I think is crazy because there's so much good music out there. And I think that the way we listen to music now, sometimes I think people just want to be fed a song like on the radio. And I mean, there's a lot of artists out here, independent artists, putting out music, and you just gotta look for it.
That's right.
And I have Spotify, so I use Spotify.
Sure.
But there's dope playlists on Spotify that have, indie artists, and there's just so many different ways to discover new music these days for people to be saying that R&B is dead.
Right. It's such a ridiculous statement.
Yeah, I think maybe what they may mean is that R&B is not what it was in how, your 112s and your Monica and Brandy, and the list just goes on and on and on and on with R&B artists, that I was inspired by all those artists. Because the music doesn't sound like that anymore. I feel like people are saying that it's dead, but really I think that R&B has just gone to a different place. And I always appreciate that about music. Like, I'm never going to be one of those artists that's saying, what are these kids doing? I mumble rap, I be liking some of it.
Yeah.
I don't I like some of it. Like, you know, everything doesn't have to be the deepest thing in the world. And
Right.
it's just these artists, they have a particular audience, and everybody doesn't have to like you. And, you know, you can bounce around from artist to artist and
Yeah.
pick what you like and don't listen to what you don't.
Yeah, that's true. I think R&B, like we just talked about, it has so many branches
Yeah.
that it can be R&B and hip hop. It can be a true R&B
Mm-hmm.
soul. It can be dark R&B, whatever
Yeah.
you call it. It could be all of these different things that we all appreciate, as long as it has the feeling and it's resonating in that way. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
And did you notice about hip hop though that hip hop slowly transformed into, now it's kind of hard to hear a song where there's no melody.
That's right. Very melodic.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You can't help but notice it because they all singing.
Yeah.
I think when I think about people saying hip hop is dead, and I'm sorry, R&B is dead. Shout out to Nas, but that's not what we're talking about. When they say R&B is dead, I think they're really saying the industry, R&B industry, maybe not what it used to be in that way. Because back in the day, any R&B artist come out, they got $1 million, $2 million, $3 million budget
Yeah.
rollout.
Yep.
Now you don't see as many with the big rollout.
Yep.
And because the market is the way it is in terms of hip hop, having so much radio play,
Yep.
and well, really everything's kind of leaning away from radio in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But having so much visibility across the board, so it's so commercialized, R&B kind of got the back seat.
Right.
You know, but it was still, so many artists were still continuously putting out fantastic music.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's what the culture's feeling. You know, I was having a conversation with a friend earlier today, ironically, talking about my show, and he was saying R&B is dead. And I said, R&B is definitely not dead. I said, you just have to know where to look. If you're looking for specific artists, trust me, it's a lot of people, like, we all really love R&B. This is actually one of the things that's helping this show be so successful, because we talk about R&B. So we're catering to fans who love R&B music, and they're finding my show just because we're talking about R&B. Like, how many conversations do you have about, man, that song was so special, it meant this to me, or I love the way this person sang, or their approach on this particular record. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's true.
So in terms of, like, what can we expect coming forward from you? I mean, do we have an album coming sooner than later, or like or a project? What are we looking for?
So I have a project. I have a lot of songs.
Of course.
And so we're kind of narrowing down, putting together the songs, finding out what we want to use as a project. So I've got a couple singles, like, you know, ready to go. I've got some things that I want to do with Hit You Right Back.
That record's so hard. It's a
thank you.
perfect vibe. Like,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and it's kind of got like hip hop still, like hip hop drums element to it. And I like to mix genres with songs, you know, so while some people may see me as a R&B artist, even when Bad came out, I still even think that was kind of like an alternative, rugged approach to R&B.
Yes.
So you can expect some genre mixing.
Let me ask you this: on Hit You Right Back, I love your approach on that record. Right, you're behind the beat a little bit. It's like, it really feels like you're saying in that song, look, I'm gonna hit you right back. I'm gonna get back to you. It sounds like people are bothering you. I'm trying to, and you're like, look, it's not you. Listen, I'm gonna get back to you when I have some time. Whatever, I'm focusing on me. That's kind of how it feels in terms of the way at least I receive it, and audibly when I listen to the way your vocal approach. Can you talk about, like, what were you thinking about? How did you go into that? How'd you approach it?
Yeah, it's very laid back, like stoner type of song.
Sure.
And when I was writing it, I actually did the song a couple years ago. But when we were writing it, how many times do you talking to somebody and you trying to get off the phone?
All the time.
It could go be to do something stupid, like you know, you just trying to find a way to get off the phone.
Sure.
And you're just like, yo, I'm gonna hit you right back.
Yeah.
And so it's just that kind of vibe. And like you said, with the conversational lyrics, I like to always find places in my songs where I can say something that's super relatable, or that's something that everyone says, like, I'm gonna hit you back, or so yeah, it's just kind of like I'm on my own, and that's how I am just as a person. I'm not super social, but I can be.
Sure.
I have like pockets of being social. Like I'll go out if I hung out 3 days in a row, then that means I gotta like stay home for a month.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, I'm very much like, you know, kind of a loner a little bit, and kind of in a calm vibe.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's what the song is. I think it's like, you know, how you said how I'm singing it, just kind of behind the beat, and it's just like my personality, stoner. Yeah, I'm hit you right back. I'm on my.
Yeah. It's authentic. I love that record. That record just dropped today, I believe.
Yes.
And I've literally played it probably 15 times.
Cool. Thank you for the stream. Yeah. Appreciate you.
I need to go and buy it. Actually, in fact, on iTunes, you just look for The Star, because that's still available. A thing? Listen.
Where people buy it?
Well, do they do it? That's another question.
Okay.
But on iTunes, well, Apple Music, you see the Apple logo. So that's just streaming. But if you look for The Star, that's what we all forget, that's still a thing. And you type iTunes, you can actually buy it. So
make sure you guys get on iTunes and purchase. Make sure you guys get on iTunes and purchase my new single, Hit You Right Back, featuring Tone Stith. Thank you.
Yes. You got a guaranteed sale today, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I need my .001.
What is it, Apple? I think theirs is like, maybe it's .0023.
Okay,
like
okay.
It ain't too much more than that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you guys for streaming.
You're gonna get. You independent? Are you?
Yes, I am.
So I don't know if it's $1.29, but you're gonna get $1 or whatever you're gonna get from me, for sure.
Cool.
For sure. So let's get into.
We're doing pretty good on streams. I've been checking I haven't checked my streams, but
you're killing it.
Yeah, it's
you're killing it.
I've been looking at my analytics, and I'm going to for the first few days, and then I'm gonna stop, paying attention. But yeah, it's doing pretty good.
No, but I like you can if it's ready available. It's hard to not look at the analytics and see who's listening. But that's a cool metric though. Like, X amount of people in Germany are listening.
Yeah,
X amount of people
it breaks it down like that.
Yeah.
I just noticed that today.
So cool.
So shout out to Brazil.
Come on.
I didn't even know that I had fans like that in Brazil. So
obrigado.
Yeah.
That's all I know. That's all I know.
I don't know
in
anything.
Portuguese.
So okay.
All right, let me ask you a couple questions in terms of like, this is our hot takes. We kind of talked about the music, R&B music being up 25%. I do feel like it's a wave going on. Are there any of your favorite R&B artists that, like, who are you listening to? Like, these are the people I'm inspired by. Is it anybody specific right now?
Shoot, I don't have my phone. I listen to so many things. I know Don Toliver's not an R&B artist technically, but I mean, I guess
he's dope though.
Yeah, I do like Don Toliver. I like Brent Faiyaz.
Come on.
I think Tone Stith his project is fire.
Fantastic.
POV. So myself.
Yes.
And I got into the Drake album. Actually, I really liked that Certified Lover Boy. I don't know if that's considered R&B, but I really like a lot of the
artist.
Yeah, he's a hybrid. But I really like a lot of the stuff that's going out. Everyone who puts out a project, I check it out.
Yeah.
And I have songs that I like from a lot of people's projects, and I put them on my playlist. Or I'll just let my R&B playlist play on Spotify, and if I hear an artist that I like, I'll just be like, who's that artist, and I'll add it to my playlist. So I have I don't have my glasses on.
You like me.
Yeah. I can't see, but I just add a bunch of random artists to my playlist. If I'm hearing something and the next song comes on and I like it, I'll add it to my playlist.
Are there any artists that you haven't worked with that you want to work with?
That I want to work with,
whether it's a feature or even as a writer,
There's so many good ones out here. I mean, I would like to work with Drake. I think that would be dope. I would love to write a song for Beyonce.
Come on.
And I'm proud of a lot of my friends that got placements on Beyonce's last project.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, where was I when this was happening? But that's my next goal. I would really like to get a placement on Beyonce.
It just hit me. This is like super, super left field. But you mentioned Timbaland earlier, and my mind just went to, I would love to hear you on a record with Missy.
Ooh.
Like That would be
fire.
crazy.
Yeah, that'd be fire. You know, Missy, she be singing on the low.
On the low? No, she's singing for real. Yeah, on the low.
So, and she got, her pen is crazy too.
Come on. She's one of my all-time favorites. Yeah.
That would be really cool. I love Missy Elliott.
Yeah. I mean, because she, as a singer, rapper, producer, songwriter, the whole gambit, she's just a 100%er, you know, and I just...
That might happen one day.
Listen, we just put it out there, and I'm telling you, I've been putting stuff out here, and it's just been happening. Okay. Just the randomest things, like seriously. So, Tiara Thomas, Missy Elliott, first of all, can we talk R&B? But in all reality, I would love to hear. I'm listening to you, and because I knew we were having this interview, I've been doing more of a deep dive of your music just in the past few days. And I'm just like, man, you know, it'd be really crazy if you went real left field and did something. And I'm saying left field, but it'd be, you know, with your style and hers, you guys probably make something magical.
Okay. All right. I feel like that's coming up in the future. I haven't met her, but I feel like, you know, it's crazy. When I met Timbaland, I walked up to Tim, and I think he was at the Four Seasons. Maybe,
here in LA?
Yeah. Okay. Maybe it had to be 2012. Okay. Maybe. And he was eating at the Four Seasons. And again, I'm just walking up to somebody saying, hey. And Timbaland actually is one of my favorite producers of all time. No question. And so I walked up to him. I was like, hey, I'm a huge fan, and I have my guitar, and can I play you this song? And I think maybe I was singing bad on the guitar. Wow. Before it came out. And he was like, you got 30 seconds. So I start playing the song on the guitar for Tim. Wow. And he takes out his phone, and he calls Missy. And he's like, yo, I think I heard the next Aaliyah. And she was like, if you don't get off my phone, like she did not like that. You know, she was like, don't be telling me you found the next Aaliyah. And he was like, okay, well, I just met this girl. She's really dope. She's singing, she's playing guitar. So that's the closest interaction you've had with her. The closest interaction I've ever had.
But I'm sure that you're on her radar because you've made so many hot records, and she's like, I'm sure she knows what's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people still don't know, because I mean, I guess I could more, but I don't necessarily just be out there like, hey guys, I wrote this song. But you know, a lot of people don't even know some of the songs that I've written on. So
I just found out.
I think it's cool when they find out.
I just found out that you wrote one of my other favorite songs.
Which one?
Oh, you co-wrote it. Damage.
Oh yeah, with her and Aunt Clemens.
Come on.
Yeah.
Take me on the journey of that song. Yeah. That song is super special.
Yeah, that song is fire. That's another one of those songs where we were just in the studio, and it was kind of a very organic moment between her and Clemens and myself and Cardiac, you know, the producer. Yeah. And we were in the studio and just listening to that loop, the sample. And we just kind of started bouncing melodies and lyrics off of each other. I mean, literally, like, and it's so hard to, on some of these songs, like when there's a few writers on there, it really is a collab. You're sitting in the studio and everybody's got their phone out, and you're like throwing out a line. It's like, so be careful what you take for granted, because, you know, and they're like, oh, I like that. And then, you know, then somebody adds something else. So it's really just bouncing ideas off of each other. And then it turns out to be this crazy. Yeah. And that's Damage was one of them ones.
Man, and it feels like that it's very special. Like, it's like, you hear a lot of songwriters that write, I mean, hell, so many fantastic songs. Yeah. But when that song came to me, I think about just as a musician myself, you hear the chord structure, the melody of that line. You know, don't take things for granted. Those, like, lyrically, you guys are touching. Like, these lines are connecting. But then when you come back to the hook, it's like holding me tight. You know, that record is just so fire, bro. Like,
I think that's the cool thing about collabing with other writers is that everybody has different life experience and perspective. And that's why even myself, for my own songs, I like to collaborate with other people, because someone's going to give you a perspective or a melody or lyrics that you may not have thought of or thought to put it that way.
Yeah.
And so it's just dope to have other creators in the room
Sure.
that you can bounce ideas off of.
Yeah.
So that was one of those ones. And working with Ant Clemens, he's fire. His pen is crazy. So yeah, that was very organically written piece.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love that song. So this is one of those things, I guess, when it comes down to R&B music, you have these phases. You have, we talked about the 70s. Well, we haven't talked about, we're going to say the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. Is there a specific decade that you think would be your favorite timeline?
It's going to be 90s R&B.
Going to be 90s.
Yeah.
Why?
It just like had this feel to it.
Yeah.
I just have a connection to 90s music. It just feels so nostalgic. I can remember sitting in the back of the bus with my headphones on, listening to Usher, and just like the specific boy that I had a crush on.
Yeah.
When I was, when he was like 3 grades older than me, and I had a crush on this boy, and I'm listening to Usher on the back of the bus. And just like so many memories and just this nostalgic feeling. I just love the 90s period.
Yeah.
Movies from the 90s,
Yes.
TV shows from the 90s fashion, 90s music. It was all fire. And it just brings me like this nostalgic feeling. The melodies were fire, 90s melodies.
Yes.
It was just cool. It was really cool.
You're a 90s baby.
Well, I told you I'm 20, so.
That's right. You know what? I'm
Yeah.
tripping. I'm thinking, so how can you remember hearing music if you're 20 that was in the 90s? Oh, I guess you must have the time machine.
Time machine, exactly. I got into the time machine, so.
I remember.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, just
the 90s is my era. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I'm 43. I don't mind saying it. So I was in high school in the 90s. So my whole identity comes from the 90s.
Exactly.
So I feel you. From the films, the TV shows, to the music, it all had a temperature that we all resonate, and it's just
everything. Like you could put on a 90s playlist and just let that joint play for hours,
Right
and
now.
it'll just be jam after jam after
That's
jam,
right.
and it just takes you back.
That's right.
And I loved a lot of the female artists from the 90s, just their voices.
Yeah.
Brandy was one of my favorite singers.
Mine too.
Hearing her tone and her deep raspy tone, that was just so different. And Toni Braxton and just there's so many
yeah,
to name.
so many, man.
The groups that came out of the 90s.
Come on.
It was
Any
just crazy.
favorite like female groups from the 90s?
TLC.
Come on. You know what? I could see the swag a little bit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that whole sexy tomboy.
Yeah.
Still like feminine, kind of I don't give a type mentality. It was cool. It was really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I had a crush on each member of TLC.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually I went to H.E.R Festival
Nice.
last month in Vegas, and I saw them perform.
Wow.
And I was like, I didn't know I needed that. Like it was, they look and sound so good still.
Yeah.
Fire. It was so fire.
Yeah, T-Boz and Chili, and rest in peace, Left Eye.
Yes.
In the 90s, when they came out, it was like, the first, I can't think of the first single. I'm thinking about the video when they had the
Ain't You
African.
About to Beg, was that it?
I don't know if that was the first single. I think the first one was Baby, Baby, Baby.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Baby.
Yeah.
And I just remember, this is out of 93 maybe, I can't remember what year it was, but I just remember that record being so, not just that song, but them being so impactful.
Yeah.
And back then we would watch videos on the box, or you're too young for that.
I don't know if I remember the box.
Yeah, it was the box. So the box was, you would literally pick up your dial-up phone. There's no cell phone. You call and you pay $1 to watch the video.
Really?
Yes. And the video would come right on. And think about it. There's however many millions of people calling, paying that $1. So that song will come on 20, 30 times in a row.
Crazy.
Right after that, Bone Thugs will come on. Right after that, NWA will come on. And then it'll come back on.
Okay.
So obviously you had MTV. and BT had like Video Soul, stuff like that. So it's, you know, but the impact that TLC had at that time, and of course, you know, they're another iconic group, you know, from you know, from the 90s, but that's fantastic. You can't go wrong with TLC.
Yeah, you can't. Destiny's Child came out in the 90s, right?
They
Yeah, that was
did.
definitely 90s,
Yeah.
late 90s.
Late
but,
90s, yeah. They came out, I think their first album may have been 96 or 97.
Okay.
No.
Yep.
Yeah.
Destiny's Child, In Vogue.
Yes.
There's so many.
Yeah.
Literally, there's so many. Even you know, Sade, which is like a different type of
Girl, you better stop it.
R&B.
I know Sade.
But yeah, well, I mean, I know you know Sade, but it's like a different type of R&B,
yes,
though.
for sure.
I don't even know if they consider that R&B.
It's R&B. It's like R&B jazz. It's like a fusion between jazz R&B. Yeah, it's definitely R&B.
I just have this nostalgic memories when I listen to Sade, and I think about riding around in the car with my dad, and he's playing Sade, and I'm listening to like Smooth Operator.
Yeah.
And so
one of my favorite songs in life is Kiss of Life. And you know, but Sade is really, she's like late 80s, you know.
Yeah. She is, that was late 80s, but I was listening in the 90s.
Oh no, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, no, look, my kids, they're listening now. You know what I mean? Like Sade
That's good.
oh yeah, for sure.
Timeless.
I had a opportunity to see her live once.
Oh really?
In 2011, she was on the Soldier of Love tour.
Fire.
Yeah, they came to New Orleans, and I had to be there.
Dope. That's cool.
So it was her and John Legend.
Oh,
but that was
fire.
a fantastic show, like a week or two after Essence Fest.
Okay.
Have you ever gone to Essence Fest?
I have been to Essence Fest.
You performed?
I did not perform, but I've been to Essence Fest before.
Gotcha.
I know it'll always be popping now.
Come on.
But,
it's just you know, it's the biggest black music festival.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna make it out. I'm gonna make it out there next year.
Yeah.
But
well, tap in. We'll have to get our people together and make it happen.
For sure.
That's good.
Definitely.
Look, this is a continued conversation. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, for
Appreciate
sure.
you.
I'm saying for having us. Thank you for coming on the show. Listen, guys, we have the incredible Tiara Thomas with us. It's been an incredible conversation, and this is a continued conversation. So, can we talk R&B? Bless up.
Thank you. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're a good.
Can we